Welcome all to the second lecture of Mechanical Engineering Materials online lecture series. Our topic today is Basic Engineering Materials. The course outcome for this unit is Identify Properties of Materials. Let's start with the unit outcomes. Unit outcomes helps us to understand the outline of the unit. In other words, unit outcome is something that we will be studying in this unit. We have 6 unit outcomes for unit 1 and they are as follows. The first unit outcome is interpret crystal structure of a given material. Second is interpret the structure of specified material at given level. Third one, identify microstructure of given material with justification. Fourth, explain with the sketches the procedure to prepare given sample. Fifth, explain with the sketches procedure of hardness testing for given tester. Sixth, choose relevant hardness tester based on given situation with justification. Now let's move to the next, that is topic level outcomes. Topic level outcomes or TLO are just like unit outcomes, but these are focused mainly on the particular lecture. In this case, our lecture number 2. So in this lecture, we will study 4 concepts as follows. First, definition of material. Second, define material science. Third, factor of material selection. And fourth, classification of engineering materials. So let's start with the most important and basic concept, that is what is a material. Material is anything made up of matter constituted of one or more substances. Wood, cement, hydrogen, air, water, steel are the example of materials. In this sense, material are the parts required to make something else, from building and art to stars and computers. Let's understand this with an example of a brick wall. Now, for building any brick wall, the main components required are brick, water, sand, and cement. Now, these 4 items are essential for building the brick wall, can be called as a material. A material can be anything, a finished product in its own right, or an unprocessed raw material. Raw materials are first extracted or harvested from earth and divided into a form that can be easily transported and stored, then processed to produce a semi-finished material. Let's discuss this with an example. When we go to any restaurant and order any food such as a starter or a main dish, then this food uh, are prepared are the finished products, but the vegetables that are to be used while cooking them are the raw materials which are harvested in a farm somewhere else, then transported to the vegetable market for sale, and finally these vegetables are brought to the restaurant and served us as a dish in a restaurant. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is material science. Material science is an interdisciplinary field applying the properties of matter to various areas of science and engineering. The study of metal alloys is a significant part of material science. All of metallic alloys in use today, the alloys of iron, that is steel, stainless steel, cast iron, tool steel, alloy steel, make up the largest portion of by quantity and by commercial value. The main objective of material science is to identify the best material out of all the available options to us. We will be studying in detail about the various metals and their alloys in our coming weeks, and the unit number from unit number 2 to unit number 3. Now let's look at an example. Here Which material would you use or choose for making a water bottle? The options are wood, plastic, steel, and stone. Now, in this case, most of you will select plastic as the best material for making water bottle, as that's what we have seen all around us. The reason is that plastic is lighter in weight that the other options such as stone and wood. Also, it is easy to give any shape to plastic bottle, and also it is a durable one. Finally, it will not react with water or change its states. Hereby simply stating the obvious observation, we are analyzing the plastic using the material science. Now now that we have understood the reason behind selecting plastic for making water bottle, let's further understand the various factors that are used for selecting a material. The first one is product shape, that is depending upon the shape of product that we are manufacturing. We are in a we have to make a decision to select any particular material. For example, if the shape is like a sheet, strip, or plate, or a barbed wire or tube, then we have to choose a material according to our requirement. Next is the mechanical properties. There are some example of mechanical properties like tensile, fatigue, hardness, grip, etc. Followed by physical and chemical properties, that are specific gravity, thermal and electrical conductivity, thermal expansion. The fourth factor is metallurgical consideration. It involves hardenability of steel, grain size, and consistency of properties. And fifth one is processing, that is machining ability of a material. And sixth one is sales appeal, that is how the material is looking to the eyes, how the color of the material is it lustrous or not. And finally, the cost and availability. We'll be looking into mechanical properties, physical, chemical properties, metallurgical consideration, etc. in our coming lectures. As of now, these are the basic factors that are to be considered for a material selection. Moving on to the next, let's discuss the final topic of this lecture, that is classification of engineering materials. Engineering materials are classified into four main types, that are metals, plastic, ceramics, and composites. Metals are further classified as ferrous, non-ferrous, and amorphous. Ferrous metals are the ones with iron in them. In other words, ferrous metals are the metals which are attracted towards the magnets. Example in iron Example is the iron, steel, stainless steel, cast iron. On other hand, non-ferrous are the one without iron. For example, aluminium, copper, titanium, tungsten, etc. We will discuss in detail about the amorphous metals in our next lecture. Now the plastic is further classified into thermoplastics. Example, acrylics, ABS, nylon, PVC. Then thermosets. Example, epoxies, phenolic polyamides, and elastomers, that is rubber and silicon. These types of plastic will be discussed in detail in unit number 5. Next major category is ceramics. We have seen ceramics material around us and also in our house. Glassware, dinnerware, kitchenware, etc. are some examples of ceramics that are present in our house. The final major category is composites. Example, reinforced plastics, metal matrix, ceramic matrix, and laminates. These are made up of two more materials having significantly different properties. Most common examples of composites are plywood and fiberglass. Try to find out various examples of ceramics and composites around us for better understanding of these two major categories. Now let's conclude this lecture with some practice questions that were asked in previous exams. First is, material is anything made up of matter constituted of one or more substances. Here we have to state whether the statement is true or false. Let's go to the introduction of material. Here we have seen that material is anything made up of matter constituted of one or more substances. The example we have seen is a brick wall. So we can say the statement is true. Congratulations. Now next, let's go for question number 2. Which of the following is an example of metallic material? Options are steel, wood, plastic and ceramic. We definitely know that wood is not a metallic material, similarly plastic, and same goes for ceramic. So the answer is steel. We can confirm it from here. In our slide we can see the metals are ferrous metal, that is metallic metals. The example are iron, steel, stainless steel, cast iron, etc. Now let's go to the question number 3. The cost and availability a factor for material selection. Let's see if it is a important factor for material selection or not. We have to say if it is true or false. As we can see, here are the main factors of material selection, and we can see that the last factor is nothing but your cost and availability. It means the cost of material as well as is the material available to us or not plays a major factor in selection of a material. Now the last question, that is plywood is a common example of. We have seen just a few minutes before that the plywood is a very common example of a composite. Plywood is nothing but wood along with other material having different properties, and that's why plywood is, we have seen plywood used in many furniture and other infrastructure works. So here the answer is, it's definitely not a metal, plastic, ceramic. So the answer that we have seen is composites. Good. So thank you. This will conclude our lecture number 2. Hope you understand all the concept that we have discussed in lecture number 2. If you have any problem, definitely we'll discuss this in coming lectures. Till then, try to find out various types of material, engineering materials available around us, and categorize them into 4 major types, that is metals, plastics, ceramics and composite. Okay, thank you. We'll see at our next lecture.